I muted. Unmute me. Welcome.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Spicy Astrology Live. I'm Julie, this is Elle, and we are talking about Sagittarius and the 9th house today. And yeah, how's everybody doing with this energy?
I mean, Julie and I were literally just talking about how wild our weeks have been. So again, crazy week. We should have been here last night. That was my bad. But we're here tonight. Saturday is just as fun as Friday. Also, I'm curb training Onyx. So if you hear a baby crying, he's fine. All babies are well here. They're just training to sleep on their own. So, but I hope everyone has had a lovely month from the last time we were here. And who doesn't love Sagittarius? I know that's one of your faves.
Yes, I do love Sagittarius.
We have so much to talk about tonight. So I'm super excited. And I have a list of questions, and Julie and I are going to give you some feedback. But I think one of the fun things that I got some feedback on was just sharing like different relationships that we've had with Sagittariuses in the past. So I have like 4 different best friends that are Sagittariuses, and each one of them have a strong different element that influences their Sagittarius energy. So I have a water, earth, air, and a fire one. And I couldn't tell you how like more different they could be from one another. And so that just shows you how heavy the influence of an element in your chart can really take over just your sun sign. So if you just know your sun sign and that's really the only thing you're channeling, you really need to look at all the things in your chart because there's so much more than the sun. And depending on what elements rule your chart, that's going to change your sun energy tremendously. So
Yeah.
tell us about your Sagittarius. I know you have
I'm about to see him any minute. I apparently just missed a phone call from him like 17 minutes ago, but my bad. That's weird. It didn't even ring. Okay, so my takes on Sagittarius different also with Sagittarius females versus Sagittarius
100%.
males. Yeah. Sagittarius females, adventurous, fiery, hate to follow rules of authority in my experience. I think the tagline should be "Don't tell me what to do."
I will do the opposite.
Yeah, very fiery, but again, like wisdom seekers, like they really have a thirst for knowledge for like different things outside of the peripheral. I have a little bit of Sag in my chart. I forget where.
Your Mercury, I'm pretty sure, is Sag.
I think my Mercury might be Aquarius. I have to look. And then Sagittarius men, I really only have experience with a couple. I find them to be slightly more laid back than the female version, but obviously that comes into play with like what else is happening in the chart. But I love that fun-loving, adventurous side of things, and the thirst for knowledge for things that are a little bit different. What do I have? Oh, my Jupiter's in Sag by 1 degree, and my Uranus.
Those are good ones to have. I mean, we're going to go into that, but Jupiter, the planet of luck that also rules Sagittarius, having that and Sagittarius is nice. Is a good thing. A good placement in your chart. So I love that.
I don't feel too bad about it, especially as a flight attendant.
What was that? Sorry, I think my internet cut out.
Oh, I think it's a good placement to have as a flight attendant, so that's nice.
Oh, for sure. Travel, all the things.
Yeah.
I love that. I definitely agree with you. The energy of male and female are very different. But I also feel like, again, I have 4 female friends. One is heavily influenced by earth, one's heavily influenced by water. And the earth is so practical, gypsy, but earthy. Like she's like right now backpacking through another country. I'm really not sure. Sorry, my little insect just like came over. I'm really not even sure what country. That's how gypsy she is. She's off the grid. She does not have social media. She is just earthy and adventurous. And then my water girlfriend, it's Sagittarius, mostly water. Very emotional, very artsy. And then I have an mostly air Sagittarius sun friend who is just wild. She's wild as fuck. Like she loves to party. She likes to go out. She's so carefree. And then I have a fire Sagittarius, mostly predominantly fire in her chart, Sagittarius girlfriend, who will slit your throat with words and just feisty, no tact, no filter, straight to the point. But you can always call her if you need anything. She'll always be the first one to pull up. So
I
it's that
love
fire
that.
sign energy.
Oh
And
yeah,
then
I love
girls are
that.
either like too much or just really quiet. That's what I found. They're either like extreme, no matter like what rules their chart, or they're just like really quiet. Really quiet. That's what I found. They're either like extreme, no matter like what rules their chart, or they're just like. Oh, I'm like,
loud.
is that echoing? Because it's like a lot of an echo.
Sorry.
Please.
I was pulling up this other screen so I control many things here.
Yes, no, you're good. I'm also sitting outside, everybody, because again, we're crib training, and the other room is too close to Salem's room, and it can't be loud. So you hear crickets, also along with the baby cry. All is well over here. Oklahoma is a little different than Utah. We have a lot of bugs.
I like the sound of them though; they're so pretty.
You can hear them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's there. It's nice. I like it too. So back to Sagittarius. It is a mutable sign. So anywhere that you have Sagittarius in your chart, you might find yourself with a lot of movement in that house. Like Sagittarius energy in like the first house, maybe yourself, your who you are, you move around a lot. If it's in like your 10th house, maybe your career requires you to travel, or something along those lines. So just depending on where it is in your chart, it generally means a lot of movement. It's a fire sign, so it's a real go-getter. It's a mover. It's active, and so that's a really depending on where it is in your chart. I don't think there's really anywhere that I wouldn't want Sagittarius in my chart, to be honest.
Yeah.
I like some Sagittarius. I love, honestly, Sagittarius energy. So, and there's something else that I was going to say about it, but
do you consider the outer planets to be part of a stellium?
Not really.
Yeah.
Because outer planets are not so much based on your personality. They can. So my rising is in Sagittarius, which is a huge part of my personality. But my Uranus is in Sagittarius as well. And where it's not so much that it's my personality trait, it does reflect rebellion and a very rebellious energy. And you and I both are very rebellious. Like, literally was just saying, if someone were to tell me to go somewhere, I would be like, no. But if I'm already going there, I'd be happy to go. But the minute someone says good to do it, I'm out. I'm like, no, fuck you. I'm doing my own thing. So there's that. But yeah, so I have some questions here on Sagittarius traits was one of the questions that I got. So what are Sagittarius traits? I have found in my study and through relationships, because I do have a lot of Sagittarius energy around me, that they do show up and they're consistent. I think they're great workers. I also feel like they're truthful and they have a pursuit about them that is very honest. And I think they want to know the truth about things. They are truth seekers through and through. They're not quite the go down the rabbit hole on facts like a Scorpio, but they are definitely similar. I mean, they're right after Scorpio, so they get some of that Scorpio energy, part of their sign brushes off on there anyways. But yeah, they are definitely truth seekers. I actually had a Sagittarius friend follow cops around and record them doing things. And he would represent himself in court because he would get tagged by like a ton of different I don't know what he would get in trouble for, but he would definitely get arrested a lot because he's following these cops and he's like agitating them. Like, oh, what are you doing? Are you supposed to do that? And then somebody didn't read his rights and he was like, oh, this is going to go. Like, he was just a smart ass and hated the police. Again, there's that rebellion and that like just the whole Sagittarius energy. I'm just like, Kyle, you got to get it together. Like, you're going to get like put in prison for life if you don't stop just bugging. Then he did it just to piss them off because he was like, oh no, the light needs to be shined on what they're doing. And I'm like, I think you need a bigger team besides you and your little drone or your little recorder.
Oh
But
that's so funny.
It was just the most Sagittarius energy that I could ever like just in front of me right there. So those are traits of Sagittarius. What makes Sagittarius so adventurous? So you think of a Sagittarius, half man, half horse. Horses run free. They're free spirited. But again, there is this, I just have always found that Sagittarius have like a wit to them. They are smart. And so when you have that human half and that wild half, I think that's really what drives them is their spirits are free, but there's also a lot of thought and a lot of logic, I would say. These people tend to be the like, yeah, they sometimes I find can be like, oh, well, I'm a realist. That's any fire sign. That's a Leo fire sign, Aries fire sign. They are very like, oh, I'm not being pessimistic. I'm a realist.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, you're being pessimistic. But you get it because you're a Capricorn. You're like, me, I'm like, let me live in my place of like rainbows and butterflies. But fire signs and earth signs, they're like, no. So it's that kind of energy. But I think that to answer the question, what makes them so like free is they're ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter is the largest planet in our system. It is like abundance and free. And so there's also like this freedom and this part of them that's animal, but also with this like expansion of a huge planet, it gives them this energy of just like, going the farthest, running the farthest, having this space. If you think of like the space that a planet covers, like that's a lot, and that plays a part in the astrology terms of like, you know, they're big thinkers. They're big on action because they're a fire sign, and so it's really just all those things mixed together make them an adventurer, a seeker, free spirited.
Yeah. I always say too that they're all or nothing. It'll be like, okay, I'm gonna on a health kick, and they'll throw away all the bad food, and they're like, okay, I'm on a health kick, and then it'll be the opposite, and it'll just be only junk food, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is such Sagittarius energy. I
What are
literally,
we doing right now?
yeah, it's all or nothing, and I'm like, can we find balance right now? I would really like that. My Libra moon is screaming.
You're like, I need something. Well, and even with that, like being said, it's religion is really big for Sagittarius, and it doesn't have to be like religion, spirituality. It can be whatever that looks like for them. But when they believe in something, like say Christian, they can be a little much. I don't know if you know any like hardcore Sagittarius Christians, but man, they believe, and that's great. I love that they have their faith, and they really are like they advocate for that too. They're very in that community, want to spread that, and then that's with anything, whether it's spiritual, whatever.
Yeah.
What are some characteristics of evolved and unevolved Sagittarius energy? So Sagittariuses are known to be promiscuous, and I don't know if I'd say this is evolved or unevolved because it really is about your perspective. But they can be very promiscuous. It's hard for them to settle down. I would say an evolved Sagittarius would settle down in a way that is very freeing. I think that a lot of Sagittarians, they know what they want. But some of them it takes a little bit longer. And some of them also, I think, maybe try to fit in a box. So I could see an unevolved version of a Sagittarius settling down too young, trying to fit a role because and not being unevolved would cause them to kind of just go inward and be like, oh, I can do this, and force themselves into something that doesn't feel right for them because they do need freedom. They need to feel free. They need to be loved freely. And so I think that they could be unevolved in controlling relationships that just feel maybe comfort to them for some reason, probably some childhood trauma in there. But I would say an evolved one would definitely find a partner that loves them freely because that's a big deal.
Yeah.
So unevolved, I want to say that unevolved would be like no tact and just so direct that it's like rude. But I just don't even know. I've never met, other than my water Sagittarius, she speaks very kindly, but normally they're pretty direct and they're pretty like,
Yeah.
you're dumb.
Which
But
I
they
appreciate.
yes, I know. Don't sugarcoat me. They're not sugarcoaters. And so I don't know if that's evolved or not evolved for Sagittarius, but I've
Yeah.
yet to meet the sugarcoats. They can be people pleasers. I have seen that, they do there's a piece of them that has this energy of like, okay, they're very happy and they're very optimistic and they want everyone to be happy and optimistic. And so I think an unevolved version of a Sagittarius would be a people pleaser because they're not living true self form. They're trying to people please because they want everyone to feel that genuine happiness. So just a few characteristics. They can be bitchy. The women could for sure be bitchy.
Mm-hmm. No comment.
You're like, my friends are watching.
Just in case.
You're like, I mean, but they know that. I guarantee you they know that. And there's no shame. And they're like, well, I'm straight to the point. Like, I'm going to tell you how it is.
Yeah.
All right. My next question is, would you date a Sagittarius Venus? No.
What would a Sagittarius Venus qualities be?
I mean, you think about it in terms of Sagittarius energy, free, fun-spirited, a good time. I would love to have a friend that's a Sagittarius Venus. I don't think I would want to marry a Sagittarius Venus. My Venus is also Virgo, so it squares, and that could be challenging because I love a very particular way. So, I mean, there just could be a little more. Oh, her mans must have got home. I love it. I love it. Wait, what is his Venus? Because he's a Sagittarius sun, right?
Yeah, let me look.
A Sagittarius Venus doesn't have to be bad. I would say as long as they're evolved and maybe really aware of what they want, it wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing, but just very free and very their own space and do their own thing. They probably love to travel. They probably love to travel and take adventures on their own. It's just a very independent placement that I don't prefer.
Yeah. Let's see.
Now, some people love that, and I think that's great. They work well together.
0 degree Aquarius.
New love this life. I swear my incense just like is directly blowing in my face. Hi, Sam. Did you come to sit for the Sagittarius? Or are you jet lagged?
Sit for a second.
Hello. Sam just got in from North Carolina, right? South Carolina, North Carolina?
North Carolina, yeah, Charlotte. Thank you.
Nice, nice.
Sagittarius.
Is there anything
A
you'd like
resident
to
Sagittarius.
Yeah,
What?
no. Definitely I'm a Sagittarius. I mean, a lot of it is my personality.
Do you ever read Sagittarius things and you're like, yep, that's definitely.
Yeah, no, even before all the community and even understanding anything about energy, it was like very apparent. I was like, oh yeah, no, one of those ones that actually, fully is aligned with the sign. So
That's awesome. Yeah, well, I think you two are the cutest, and I'm happy that you're home, and I know you're happy that he's home. So
yeah, thank you.
we will go through this one a little faster. I'm also extremely exhausted, so I don't have a lot of questions. So let's get through here. So Sam is a Sagittarius Sun and Mercury.
I think it's just his.
You probably know my chart better than me.
Yeah, he just has Sag in his true node and Sun.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, so if you have a Mercury Sagittarius in your chart, the way that you speak, think is a very direct, straight to the point. Again, there's no like room for like fluff or the just kind of sugarcoating things. It's a very direct approach on how you think and how you speak, which you may relate to being a Sagittarius Sun.
Mm-hmm.
Which Julie, I know.
Depends on the person. If I like you, then yeah, you're gonna get it direct. But if I need to, that the fluff will come in when I'm like, don't want to go too many layers with the person.
Applying for a job.
Yeah, exactly.
That makes sense.
Exactly, yeah, just different levels to it, I guess. But yeah, I guess the deeper that they would know me or I like them, the more Sag I would be.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's very Sagittarius direct. All right, my next question is, would you prefer to have Sagittarius in your first house or your 10th house? The random questions that I get. But that's a good question, actually, because this incense is going to be the death of me. It's probably protecting me from bugs outside, and I'm just being complaining, and it's like, okay, fuck you, and then I'm going to get attacked by mosquitoes, but that's fine. So honestly, I think because I'm such a career-driven chart, I would probably want Sagittarius in the 10th house, and I'll tell you why. Sagittariuses are leaders. They're self-starters. They are very they're particular in their work, and they don't half-ass things. They get things done, and they are just like boss babes or dudes. They have that energy. And not that I wouldn't want them in my first house of self, because I think that if you had it in the first house, that would reflect and shine over into your 10th house energy. But I definitely think I would choose 10th house because I would want my career to be Sagittarius, and it's luck. It also brings in luck. So I can always work on my appearance, and if I'm super hideous, then I can, sort my life out. But the 10th house, I would like the luck in my career over my looks. What would you pick, first or 10th house?
10th.
Yeah. Some people out there are like, no.
I'm not as good at these equations as y'all two, but I would definitely pick the one that people would connect with me a little bit better, I guess. I find a struggle with that. Also, as especially as a more of a knowledge seeker and connecting with that part, like you want people to ask you questions. You also don't want to impose on people. But so I don't know. I like it when people actually do break that barrier, but also I understand. I don't have the energy or chart or whatever for them to be very comfortable.
Okay.
Breaking that barrier, because I don't want to impose with what I know or how I do things, but I love connecting with people, and I find it's hard for them to connect with me off of initiation, I guess.
Okay. So I would actually add in, this person particularly asked first or 10th house, which are two of the main houses. I would say with that response, you would rather have your Sagittarius energy in the 7th house, which is partnerships, relationships, and things like that. And it's a better connecting planet. That's what I would suggest for you. Julie and I over here, like, we're trying to build careers. But that's a good answer, because that does bring a point to the 7th house. Sagittarius energy in the 7th house is going to give you luck and abundance in relationships, partnerships, maybe even the 11th house. That house isn't as, it's not as major. So the 1st, 4th, 7th, and 10th are the 4 major houses. So 1st is self, 4th is family, 7th is relationships, and then the 10th is career. So even to take it one step further, the 11th house, which is community, friends, things like that, might be a really good Sagittarius house too. But as far as the major houses, 7th house energy would be basically your choice based off the decision or the answer that you gave. So I like that. So yeah, Julie and I are 10th. This person said, I think I probably want the first. But I mean, you think about it, a lot of people do want luck and that abundance in self, because again, that would reflect and pour over into your careers. If you're really strong and bold personality of self, and you had luck, and you have, it's a known fact that, I know when I wear makeup, I get treated different when I don't wear makeup. I'm blonde, so I look like a burn victim with no makeup on. And so I feel like people are always like, "Oh my God, are you feeling okay?" Like they instantly feel bad for me, and I'm like, "Oh no, I just don't have makeup on. I'm good. I got plenty of sleep last night." So I'm just like, I don't know. Maybe I should have chose first house, but 10th house career. That's more my style. I'm just saying. Let's see. Would you say Sagittarius is an intuitive sign? Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely. I think the fire signs in general get downplayed by intuitive thoughts and presence. I think water sign, I mean, of course they're water signs, they're intuitive, not just like downplaying them by any means, but I think that fire is way right behind them and not far. Like with the intuitive, like feelings and just overall being. I just think they have a very grounded, intuitive nature about them.
Yeah.
You would agree?
I definitely agree.
Yeah. Leos kind of freak me out sometimes. I'm like, why do Leos have this intuitive thing?
Considering how much ego there is, yeah, it does feel odd sometimes.
But they surprise me every time. I'm like,
we're both Leo risings, and we caught a porch pirate just based on intuition alone, first thing in the morning before our coffee.
Wait, a porch pirate?
Yeah,
someone came and stole about three parcels, including one from us. And so, yeah, no, I mean,
just based on intuition, we caught him.
I had a definitely ran after him.
You knew who it was.
Scared the hell out of him, and he ended up throwing the parcels up over the railing, and I returned the parcels to, our neighbors with a gentle note to all the neighbors saying that, hey, I'm sorry, I acted a little crazy.
Sometimes you have to.
I went into defense. I went into a pretty rough defense mode that I'm not going to fully explain, but
hey, you know what? We're learning all about Sagittarius, so this is a good example of. So, would you say, Julie, that he's more of the calm or the not calm Sagittarius?
He's got both sides.
A mix of both.
Yeah, he's got both sides. He's always very, very calm unless it's time to not be calm, and then he's always like very appropriate with his emotions and those things.
That's good. That's awesome.
My feelings.
Yeah,
love that. Because isn't he a Libra moon too?
No,
it's been so long since I've pulled your chart. I have done your chart, but I'm like, I can't.
Gemini.
Remember.
Yeah,
Gemini.
Two sides, but not always balanced.
Yeah, not the Libra. That's what you have Julie for, because her Libra moon comes in clutch for that.
Yeah, the Libra moon helps the Gemini moon a lot. I didn't notice that until started to understand more of you what your teachings are doing to both of us.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
No, that's awesome. I'm glad that you found her, because I do feel really bad for Gemini moons. You guys have a rough placement to have a sign that doesn't really enjoy emotions in the emotional section of your soul. It's like, that's hard to deal with. So you can't logic everything. Some things need to be felt.
I don't mind it. I really don't.
Job.
Like I learned to lead with my feelings on a lot, and actually kind of the logic comes in secondary. But that's just my own little, I guess, personal practice of what I'm consciously trying to go towards.
You've done a lot of work. You've evolved a lot too. So that will help immensely. When you do the work, a lot of times when you look at the signs and where they are in a difficult place, it kind of lightens that, whatever that energy is, because you've done the work and so you've worked through it. So regressions are huge.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna skip to some of the house stuff. That one was already asked. So let's just say Sagittarius Sun, for example. So if you have a Sagittarius Sun, again, we were kind of talking about the question earlier, would you want your Sagittarius in the first house or 10th house? First house is going to be about self. It's going to be about your personality. It's going to be bold. It's going to be large. It's going to be abundant, just like the energy of Jupiter, which Sagittarius is ruled by Sagittarius, or Sagittarius is ruled by. And so this is like, I would say probably a bossier personality, but they know what they want and they really just aren't taking any bullshit. And they just kind of like, here's what it is. So it's really strong energy. It's really fiery, maybe a little feisty, might like to fight. This is that kind of energy. Sagittarius in the second house is somebody that's going to really take charges of their finances, their assets, their how they make money. It's going to be very maybe not well thought out. I don't want to say like it's like a super thought out sign, but the intuitive part of them can take control and they can make very smart business decisions based on their intuitive nature. Sagittarius in the third house, which is the opposite house that Sagittarius likes to live in. It likes to live in the ninth house of travel. The third house would be short travel and siblings. This person could be one of many siblings. You have Sagittarius, a lot of placements in the third house. Probably a lot of fun in your childhood neighborhood, growing up, different schools or maybe the same school, but just a really, I would say, lighthearted childhood. Um, Sagittarius in the fourth house, I would say luck in family matters. Possibly, did we freeze? Oh, you just muted. I'm like, we're still live. Mine is doing something crazy.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
I think I pressed a button with my elbow.
Oh, you're good. So yeah, Sagittarius in the fourth house, family. You may inherit a lot of money from your older grandparents or some random. It's just kind of one of those things that I feel like when you have Sagittarius energy in the fourth house, you have the luck either of family or inheriting something. So it could just be like a really big jewel. Who knows? But it's Sagittarius is lucky. Sagittarius in the fifth house. This would give a person a very playful, probably a little more promiscuous. I wouldn't want a Sagittarius Venus in the fifth house person for sure. Definitely not interested in that. That just is somebody that's really free, a little probably too wild for my liking, and just a very bold, loud. This house would probably just like give this Sagittarius a microphone and just like it would be very loud. Sagittarius, and if someone's watching and you're like, I'm not loud, then maybe you have a lot of earth in your chart, and that's great. That balances it out. But if you have a lot of fire in your chart and your Sagittarius fifth house is like a stellium or something, I guarantee you're loud. And I guarantee if you don't think you're loud, I'm going to ask 5 of your friends that probably going to do it. Because there's also this like, no, I'm not that. Like, no, girl, you are, or boy, you are. Sagittarius in the sixth house. So sixth house energy is very opposite of Sagittarius. It's very structured, it's very routine, it's day-to-day things, which I don't think that, I think of Sagittarius as someone who doesn't like those things. Maybe a Gemini wouldn't like those things, but a Sagittarius is not that big of a deal. But it definitely would be a harder placement for a lot of Sagittarius placements in the sixth house because it is more controlled. It's more perfection, and where they do a good job in their, they don't have fast things. This is a little probably too strict for them, probably too. So this might be a challenge if you have this in your chart. This might be something that you are challenged with. Sagittarius in the seventh house. This is a great placement. I would say abundance in relationships, healthy relationships, good relationships. You ever meet people that you're like, you've never had a bad relationship in your life? Have we talked about this before? I feel like we've talked about this before.
I think so.
Yeah. And you're just like, they marry their high school sweetheart, or they've had like really good exes. They're like, no, they were amazing. It just didn't work out. So it's just one of those areas. If you have Sagittarius in the seventh house, those areas of your life are fortunate, or you're lucky. And so that one, easier flow. A lot of Sagittarius in the eighth house. I don't know if I would love that. I would say this energy would give an aesthetic of like a darker energy for Sagittarius than normal. Sagittarius is typically are pretty light. They're pretty go with the flow. They're pretty easygoing. I think this would create a version of a Sagittarius that was not as easygoing, maybe a little more stuck in their ways, a little more. I mean, eighth house, Scorpio energy is fixed. Sagittarius is mutable, and so they like to flow, they like to move. There's a lot of movement there. In this house, it wouldn't be as much movement, kind of like the sixth house, but a little heavier and a little darker. Sagittarius in the ninth house, this would be ideal because Sagittarius loves travel, loves education, loves learning, and that is all things ninth house. So this is a really good placement if you have Sagittarius anything or a lot of things in your ninth house. And that also is an indicator that you have an Aries rising, which is great too to have. So just maybe buy a house by the time you're 60, or not, don't. But these are people that gypsy a lot and maybe don't really ever settle their roots somewhere. They're just constantly moving, which is great for them. Sagittarius in the 10th house, like Julie and I were saying, would be beneficial career-wise. This would give you like a really boss leader energy, compassion in a way. I think that there's a drive in Sagittarius that, again, with the higher purpose and wanting to seek truth and know truth and stand up for truth. And so this could be somebody that's really advocating for, I mean, there's so many different things that they could be, you know, trying to get to the bottom of, or trying to save, or kind of like Aquarius 11th house energy, but a little different. Sagittarius in the 11th house, again, I would just say humanitarian, one that travels a ton, saving people in all over countries. So, but really a lot of great friendships. This would be a benefit for like friendships and just gatherings and things like that, community. And then Sagittarius in the 12th house, that one might be a little more challenging. This will probably create a more secretive energy for the Sagittarius. They wouldn't be so apt to sharing things. They would be more private. And then it also could just be, you know, an indication of somebody who has dealt with a lot of loss sometimes. And it doesn't have to be like death. It could be just, you know, they lose a lot of people out of their life. So that's kind of Sagittarius in a nutshell throughout the houses. So hopefully, I mean, if you have Sagittarius in your chart and you have a ruler of Sagittarius, so one of those houses you would be able to refer to. And I think that's kind of it. That's all I really had for the Sagittarius. If you want, I can go into more things, or if you have questions, or if anybody out there has questions. But I know that he just got home and we're a day late. We're here. We made it for the month, guys, but we're a day late. So
For eclipse season, we're doing pretty well.
Yeah. We showed up.
Okay, so if I have my Jupiter and my Uranus and my Neptune are all Sagittarius, but Uranus is a little planet of chaos, Jupiter planet of luck, Neptune planet of like dreams. It's a little bit chaotic, right?
Yes. What house is it in? Sorry, I think you cut out.
Fourth and fifth house.
So which ones are in the fourth house and which ones are in the fifth house?
Sorry, I keep going between screens.
No, you're good.
Jupiter and I always get these signs. Uranus are in the fourth house and Neptune's in the fifth.
Okay. So again, I would say Jupiter, I think I've said this to you before, like you at some point, I do believe there will be a and I remember looking at your chart and thinking you will one day receive like some sort of I lost it. I lost the word. There's a benefit and you will receive something large. And I'm not saying that it would be money. It might be land. It might be, there's something that will come to you.
Land. We're going to say land.
Land. Yeah, land. He's like, I like the land one. But that is what, there was, sorry, I just saw a possum not that long ago. And so I'm in Oklahoma. So I'm like, felt something by my foot, but it's not the possum. So we're good. There was also like a big frog over, you know, by the light too. So it's fine. Inherit. There's something that you will inherit, and something's going to come your way, and that is the Jupiter in your fourth house. And I don't remember the degree. What was the degree of that one?
Jupiter, fourth house. It's 1 degree in Sag.
Yeah, that's where I was like, I feel like it was really low. So it might not come until later in life, obviously, unless you've inherited something amazing that I just don't know about. But
I'm 42, so it already is later in life.
And it could be, I mean, it could be a vast of things, but there is an indication of that. And then with your Uranus and Neptune being right there, it could be that you inherit something based on some rebellion that you pose, or there could be something aligning with maybe a fight that you put up and you get something, gain something really big for it. And it could be like something from your ancestors. I know you guys are doing a lot of work with ancestors.
Yes.
Not anything negative, it would be positive. And then the Neptune in the fifth house can sometimes create, and I think that your Capricorn really saves you on this. So when I say it, this is like a typical response, but knowing your chart, you're saved here. But having Sagittarius and Neptune can give you like an optimistic way about you. And actually, you probably experienced this when you were younger. There's a naiveness that people can pull you know, something over, like blindfold a little bit, and you kind of trust people you go in with like a naive way of like, oh, this person's going to be good because you're naturally good. And so, and it being in the fifth house, you may attract a lot of people that look fun, or, you know, even occult or things that are different. And you want to believe like, oh, this person's really good. But there, you know, Neptune is an illusion and it kind of is cloudy. But again, you have Capricorn. So there is that, thank God, because I'm a
But
Libra.
that describes my whole 30s and below.
Yeah.
Some
Yes,
of my 40s.
exactly. Well, and that's like Neptune. That's just not the best place for Neptune with that sign. But again, thank God for your Capricorn.
Yeah.
My Neptune is in Capricorn, thank God, because I'm a Libra, so mine's like the opposite of yours. And so, but yeah, it's something you have to learn. It's something with time you'll get better at kind of like pointing out like who's full of shit and who's not, which I know you know that. So yeah.
I like to learn the hard way, obviously. So yeah, I'm definitely figuring that out.
It's fun.
Yeah.
That's where you really gain the knowledge, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I was like, let me just share my stories so you don't have to learn the hard way.
It's the only way you get battle experience too.
Yeah.
And you can't get battle experience from someone telling you some stuff.
Yeah.
People always poo-poo the brick wall, but nah, baby, that's battle experience.
I agree. And I thought my kids learn the hard way sometimes. I'm like, well, and my husband's always like, I'm going to teach them to work smarter, not harder. And I'm like, you know, working harder sometimes is good for the soul. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Both should be utilized for sure.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I don't have any.
You went through these fast today.
I know. Well, like I said, we are a day late. My kids have had a virus. It's been a disaster here.
Oh,
so I'm beat. He just got home. I don't think anyone, I mean, I love Sagittarius. It's my rising. It's who I am to my core. I'm a free spirited, just fun, loving. And then you throw Libra in there and I'm such a, like, it's horrible. It's great. I have a Taurus moon, thank God. But I'm very sweet and generous and kind. And there's just like, you know, but I also have Scorpio that makes me kind of crazy. So it's fine. I talk about death a lot. I get a lot of comments from my friends that are like, you talk about death like every single like episode, or killing someone or someone being murdered. I'm like, yeah, I don't know what that's about. It's ego comes out and takes over.
Oh, that's funny. It's never boring.
No, never.
That's what makes it spicy, which we love.
Yeah, you can't get spicy astrology just anywhere.
No.
And you can't just call it spicy and have no talk about murder.
Agreed.
Hi, Savvy. All right, guys. Well, welcome home, and you guys have so much fun. I am gonna go make sure that my little one's made it to bed and sign off from here.
Perfect. And October 24th, we'll be doing Capricorn, and we may or may not pull up Joseph Smith's birth chart. Could be fun. Speaking of wanting to murder.
Run.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, you know, not to totally go down a different rabbit hole, and we're not gonna talk on this. I just, because I had to look, I had to know what Charlie Kirk was. He was a Libra.
Oh, that tracks.
Loving, sorry, Sebby. Libra. What?
Yeah, that tracks.
Yeah, I mean, Libra male energy sometimes can have a lot of ego, is all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, facts.
But yeah, right. I can believe it. So yeah, we'll do Joseph Smith on the Capricorn.
Perfect. All right, thank you so much.
Yes.
We will see you next month. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.